Good morning. This is Judy Saalinger. Well, I'm a licensed marriage family therapist, a certified addiction specialist, and clinical director of Lasting Recovery, a nationally accredited, holistic, individualized treatment program for substance use disorders, the anxiety and depression, and all these problems that seem to occur with substance abuse. Well, today my topic is alcoholism, the problem, stopping, treatment, and recovery. Some of you are thinking about the morning. There's probably a few of you who are sitting there in your car just wondering what happened this weekend. You're feeling guilty, you're feeling sad, you're feeling sick, kind of hungover, confused, and trying to figure out what really went on. Maybe in another side of the county here, we have somebody that's sitting in their kitchen, a woman that's wondering, maybe she's crying as to why those personality changes. Why did he yell at those children? And why was my weekend so miserable? I sort of feel a relief that he's gone to work. Well, some studies will say that alcohol consumption can be good for your heart, but I can tell you that it's not good for your families. It tears apart families. There's sadness, there's guilt, there's abuse, there's sickness, and lots of binge drinking episodes that can foil any kind of health problems that are going on with people. It's interesting. If you have 5 or more drinks at a sitting, and you're experiencing some medical problems, you might be experiencing some legal problems. And maybe as you go to work today, you're sitting there thinking, God, how am I going to be able to function and get that report done? Because I can't even think clearly. And your wife's probably thinking, oh my God, I think I'm going to call an attorney. I can't handle this. I'm getting a divorce. I'm getting the kids, and I'm getting out of here. So keep listening, because we've got lots of good answers for you. This is Judy Saalinger of Lasting Recovery. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist, certified addiction specialist, clinical director of Lasting Recovery, a nationally accredited, holistic, individualized treatment center for substance abuse disorders. Well, the alcohol and drug dependencies was named as a treatable disease backed by the American Medical Association in 1956. And, although it was only recently passed as a parity diagnosis, because everybody thought that you sitting there in your car or you sitting there at home, that you had problems that you should and could resolve, that there was something wrong with you. Well, what's really has been the problem is that the chemical alcohol has made an adaptation to your brain. You don't need to feel the stigma and shame and guilt about excessive drinking, blackouts, personality changes, aggression, and memory loss so much anymore as being something that you can try to control, because really it's going on in your brain chemistry, just like insulin problems with diabetes that create diabetes. You can't control it. So now, our task is really to help educate people so that you have a better understanding about the problems and how it is that you can make some different choices, maybe get some help, talk to other people. Just don't isolate. Don't sit there in your car thinking, oh, it'll go away. It's not going to go away. You go home tonight, think about popping open another beer, having a shot of vodka. It's the same cycle over and over again. I've seen it. I've seen people, get ready and die of cirrhosis because on Monday morning they thought, I'm going to get some help. But by Monday afternoon, the cycle had started again. The ritual was in place, and people were back there buying their booze and drinking on Monday nights. So, when we talk about the amount of alcohol that people drink, sometimes, when they talk about the health effects of alcohol, they're talking about red wine, in a Mediterranean country with lots of olive oil, lots of family around, so those people might do better. But most folks here, especially those that may have a genetic predisposition to alcoholism, they can't just have 1 or 2 drinks. I never could have 1 or 2 drinks. As soon as I had 2, by God, I wanted 3, 4, 5. Give me the bottle. Okay? I'm recovering alcoholic. And, my life is so much better since I stopped. But getting from the place where you're at right now and getting into a solution is a big journey. And, we're here at Lasting Recovery to be able to help you through that, because you don't have to do it alone. You know, when we talk about we talk about binge drinking, you might hear that some of these adolescents in college are doing a lot of binge drinking. Well, if you drink 5 or more drinks in a sitting, at least 12 times a year, you're binge drinking. You're not social drinking. 45% of people who do that develop coronary heart disease. So, there's lots of medical problems, lots of family problems, lots of divorces. Our country, we've got, 50% plus divorce rate. And why? I would venture to say that at least 30-40% of it has to do with alcoholism and drug addiction. So how do we know that our drinking is going to, create health problems in the next few years? Marital problems, business problems, losses of business, losses in your workplace, kids angry with you. And maybe as you're sitting there feeling this morning, you probably might have some guilt. As maybe the family member sitting at home listening to this thinking, God, what did I do wrong? Why did he get so mad? I was really just trying to be helpful. I was trying to suggest that he do something that might be helpful for him, maybe get outside. But all he wanted to do was just sit and drink, So the defenses and denial of the family, they get in there and they feel pretty hopeless, pretty trapped, and they don't know what to do. And you as a family member are struggling, and you're isolating too, because it's the shame and guilt of it. You don't want anybody else to know what's really going on in your family. You want everything to look good on the outside, but it's the part that this addiction tears apart families. People who really deeply love each other, and it's the insidious effects of untreated and undiagnosed alcoholism. So millions of people are social drinkers, and many millions more are just crossing over from being social drinkers and heavy alcohol users into the early stages of alcoholism, the addiction to alcohol. So I want to ask you to stop and think for a minute as you're driving or as you're sitting there in your kitchen. And I want you to think about something that happens to us. And I'll tell you that, it doesn't happen overnight. For men, it takes 15 years to go through this process. And for women, it takes about 8 years because we hold the alcohol differently in our bodies. But in the early stages, we increase, we have an increase in our desire to drink more than other people. And I know for myself, I thought I just wanted to have a better time. These other folks, they didn't know how to have a good time, but I did. Just give me a few more drinks and I'd be the life of the party, And then, we start to get anxious, and so we drink to calm our nerves. But then we get irritated when our drinking is discussed. When someone says, geez, haven't you had enough? It's like, no, it's about, and I would think, well, what's wrong with them? They don't even want to have a good time, and then we have occasional memory lapses, those times when I don't remember getting from point A to point B, and you may not either. You may not remember what happened yesterday afternoon, but trust me, your kids do. And then we deny it. They say, well, you said this or you did that. Your kids will remember. But you can't remember, so you deny that didn't happen. And then sometimes we start thinking about the next drinking event, just like right now as you're driving in your car, 9 o'clock in the morning, a little after 9. You're probably thinking about lunch. Where can I go for lunch? Are they going to have alcohol there? Maybe where am I going to go when I get off work? How am I going to have the alcohol in the house? Is there any left? Did I drink it all? Geez, I don't even remember whether I drank it all. So those are the early warning signs. And, at this point, it's difficult for people to really get into a place where you can begin getting into the action, because what happens is that you're starting to deny the consequences of drinking. And as this progresses, again, remember, we're talking about 15 years for men and 8 years for women. We get into this middle phase, and it's during this middle phase, what we call the loss of control, is that we begin lying about it. Boy, I can remember lying. I can remember avoiding the fact that I had alcohol in my closet. As a young person, I had several bottles of alcohol in my closet. We start feeling guilty. And I used to think that I could control everything and I should be able to control the drinking, just like you probably feel. But I couldn't, and you may not be able to either. So we start feeling guilty, feel remorse, feel bad about ourselves. Our self-esteem is in the toilet, And but then what happens is that, an alcohol, a drink may help us to feel better. And then we start having increased memory blackouts, and those memory blackouts, they can go from, sitting down, having a couple of drinks, being with friends, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, having a few drinks, and then all of a sudden it's morning time and you don't remember what happened. And it's like, that's weird. I don't remember that. Sometimes people find themselves in weird places, waking up thinking, God, how did I get here? But you know what? It's the memory blackout. You don't remember. And then this situation becomes more severe and more progressed, is that we're untreated. And this process can lead to a lack of food. It's like, did I eat dinner last night? I don't remember. Well, it doesn't really matter. I think I'll have another drink. Maybe I'll just have one because chase the hair away, however that slogan goes, and I'll just have a few drinks, a few shots in the morning, and that'll calm some of my hangover effects. So pretty soon you're drinking alone secretly. And then you think, well, okay, I'm going to try to control this. But what can you do? How can you control it? We get into our late stage alcoholism, and this is where we think, well, I don't really have a problem because, I haven't lost my job, and I still have a family. I'm not moving. I feel some remorse, but my family's still here, and I'm still eating, so I don't fit the image of what an alcohol problem is. So now what we want to do is to look at that this is the late stage. Again, we're talking about 8 years. So if you have any questions, you can call KCEO. If you just tuned in, you're listening to Lasting Recovery, and I'm Dr. Judy Saalinger, licensed marriage and family therapist and addiction specialist. And I know that you are hearing me, that you're understanding, and I'm here today to try to help you to walk out of that dark spot that you're at, because this is a problem. This problem of alcoholism has you alone and scared, and we're here for you. We want you to know, I know where you're at. I know. I've been there. And I want to help you with it. So you can contact me at 858-453-4315, or you can go to our website at lastingrecovery.com. And we have a free informational booklet called Rethinking Drinking. You can call me anytime because I understand and I'm here for you. This is Judy Saalinger at Lasting Recovery. Thank you.